everyone, it's Sue with Yuli Cat's Designs and Yuli Cat's World blog, and I'm here today with a process video for Craft Roulette episode 327. The parameters were for project an interactive card, summer colors, Here Comes the Bride as an element, and ink edging as random. I'm going to be making a 5 by 7 inch card that will have a pop-up arch and a bridal couple. To start off with, for my card base, I'm going to be using the largest 2 dies from the Rectangles and Labels crosshatch, the Arch pop-up, and I'm going to use the Peacock add-ons, this piece here specifically, so that I can add the bridal couple. So to start with, I have a white 10-inch by 7-inch piece of cardstock that I've scored in the middle and made it into a 5 by 7. You may notice that I have done my edge inking, and basically I just took the Rustic Wilderness Distress Ink cube, angled the cube a little bit on each of the edges so that now I have that. So I've got my 2 outer frames cut, so we'll glue those on. I've cut out all of my pop-up arch pieces, and I have labeled on the bottom tabs which is the left and which is the right, the arms. And I'm going to start by gluing the arch together. Just line everything up and we'll let that dry. To assemble this, I'm actually going to put in the pieces. To install the arch piece, here's the center fold, and I need to go over 2 inches. So basically that berry is where I need to put that piece so that I can fit that into it. So I let that dry a little bit, and fingers down, make sure that that goes. So there is our arch. Because I'm going to put a back piece on here to hide some of the not so pretty things, I'm going to glue down those tabs. I'm using the solid piece from the Rainbow add-ons to cover my backside. I'm using the Karen Burniston Paper People and the wedding charms. The groom's suit and the bride's dress are going to be part of them. These are actually a little bit smaller than the Paper People, so I'm going to show you my hack on how I get those to work. And from the groom's suit, flip off the loop, and we're going to trim off pants, and then we're going to trim off the sleeves. That's going to go on top of that. Just glue that on. As you can see, the back of the tuxedo piece has a little white shirt piece. And we're just matching up the shoulders, just trying to center it on there. And for the Paper People, I actually took the Fun Faces 1 Karen Bernison stamps to put on their faces. The rest of the groom's shirt that I used as the basis for the jacket and the pants are all from the Paper People set. So there's our groom. And I have to admit, the TNT wedding that took place recently is the inspiration for these outfits. And one thing I will tell you is I did cut off the back of the bride so that she can be a little bit shorter because her bun on the back makes her just a little bit taller. So that way they're going to end up being about the same size. And the bride's top is actually a t-shirt from the Paper People that I just made into a sleeveless top. And I took a short skirt and made that her veil. I want to glue on the bride and groom before I start adding flowers and such. From the Karen Bernison Flower Pot add-ons, I took this green stem of leaves, and that's what I've used to decorate the back of the arch and other places. I've also taken the smallest flower and then these almost like tulip flowers, as well as the butterfly. From the twist flower pop-up, I've taken the daisy border and then the little tiny daisy. And from the fence add-ons, I've taken what Karen has depicted here as bluebells, but we're going to use it maybe more as kind of wisteria. And then from the Flowers and Bees set, I've taken the largest daisy, the smallest daisy, and then these little teeny tiny flowers. Anytime I add something to the arch, I check to make sure that it's not catching on anything. Twist that a little bit. That seems to work. So to hide some of the blue tabs, I've just cut some extra crosshatch frame strips and I will just glue it in place. And I've kept adding flowers and such to the different parts. Again, we're just making sure everything fits. I used two different Karen Bernison stamp sets for this card. This one is Fun Faces 1, and there's the man's face, and there's the bride's face. I also used Congratulations on the back of the envelope, and this is from Grad Greetings. And I stamped that in a flannel gray. And here's the finished card. I had all kinds of extra flowers, so I used some on the front and a few on the back. These yellow-orange, I was inspired by Brendan Keene's card for this episode, and so I used a tiny sponge dauber and spice marmalade, and I also used some little pops of color. It's a resin to put the little flower centers on those. And here is our finished card with all of the flowers in and around our couple. We've got several places to sign, leave a special message. We've got our daisy border all the way around. As I said, in the back, I continued that border. I had cut special pieces, but that way it kind of hides the tabs from the arch and the blue part. So here is our card for Craft Roulette, episode 327. And I took my inspiration from the recent TNT's wedding, and I put them both in white. Don't think they're Dior gowns, but they're definitely Karen Bernison couture. Again, I used distress ink on some of these orange and yellow flowers. I used lots of flowers from different die sets. And again, the backdrop is from the Peacock add-ons, and that is the basic arch pop-up. So let's go through and make sure we have all of the parameters. It definitely isn't interactive. We've got a pop-up. We've got summer flowers, so that should mean summer colors. And here comes the bride. We've obviously got a bride and a groom and lots of florals. And then the ink edging is just very subtle on the edges of the card. And that's my card for Craft Roulette episode 327. I hope you got some inspiration, and we'll see you next Friday when Craft Roulette is live again. Bye-bye.